So once again, we're looking at a three-dimensional figure, and you have to remember that it's 3 dimensions, because if you forget that, you start thinking it's flat, and it really isn't. So you don't have a flat figure here. It's 3 dimensions, and you got to remember that. And if we look at all of our measurements, we have, and I'm not really going to be able to label this too well because it's kind of small, so I'm just going to circle this one in red. ADC, that's this guy here, and we have ADE, that is this one here. And then we have, in green, BDE, which is this one right here. All right, so those are my 3 angles. Now, it says find the value of x and answer the equations below. So we got to think about how we're going to solve for x first. Well, one thing that I notice, if I remember back to a long time ago in geometry, a straight angle is something that we can assume, and ADB is a straight angle. Okay, and I know that a straight angle is 180 degrees. So if I take my blue and my green, which are these two here, if I take these two, add them together and set them equal to 180, I should be able to solve for x. So I'm going to add the blue and the green ones together, so 74 minus 8x plus 2x plus 94 equals 180. And once I solve for x, I assume that you can do the algebra yourself. You should end up with x equals -2. Alright, so if x equals -2, I can plug it back into each one of these angles. So I'm going to plug it in here into the red one. If I plug in -2, I know it's going to equal 86. When I plug it into the blue one, so I take a -2 in for x, and I end up with 90 degrees. 90 degrees. And then for the last one, the green one, when I plug in -2, well, -4 plus 94 gives me 90 as well. But here's my red flag. I see that with this one here, which is 86, if ADC were 86, well, that's not a right angle, therefore AD is not perpendicular to CD. It's perpendicular to DE, but not to CD. Therefore, AD is not perpendicular. So my answer would be no here. And then AD and DE perpendicular, well, yes, that's true. But if I look at my last one, are AD and plane M perpendicular? Justify your answer with a theorem. My answer would be no. The theorem that I would use is that you need to have, if AD is perpendicular to 2 lines in the plane, then it's perpendicular to the plane, but it's only perpendicular to 1 line, so that's not true. So in a test scenario, usually you would just be asked this part here. We wouldn't lead you in the direction, so you need to make sure that you can do that on your own.